All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're watching this. My name is Jess Brumana, and I'm going to be talking to you today about multicultural library programming. So let's jump in. What is multicultural library programming? I'm defining it as a robust and nuanced curation of literature and activities to support library user exposure to other cultures and connect users with their own. In culture, we are, being inclusive of both, nationality, race, and ethnicity, but also gender, sexuality, and ability level. Programming can include um, Programming can include a variety of activities, whether that is bringing in a guest speaker, putting up a book display, or hosting a dance class. There are many ways to engage people and with other cultures and get them thinking about ways that they connect with their own. It's very important for libraries to be able to highlight culture in a variety of ways, whether that being, for example, the Women's History Month books by and about women, as a exploring a variety of subjects on that single culture's perspective, or making a curation that follows a common thread amongst many different cultures. To extrapolate on that common thread, I'd really love to use the example of one of my favorite um, museum programmings I personally experienced, which is the cyberpunk exploring possible futures through cinema at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences. This is a series that explores the cyberpunk subgenre through multiple different films from multiple different cultural perspectives. There are blockbuster movies like The Matrix, Terminator, Ex Machina, but then there are also independent films such as Neptune Frost, which is a Rwandan look at the cyberpunk subgenre, Sleep Dealer, which is a Mexican and Mexican American look at that subgenre, and Night Raiders, which is an Indigenous American look at um, that subgenre. And cyberpunk, for those who may not be familiar, is the, possible future of dystopia, but also how technology impacts how our futures can look like. So now let's take a look at some key points to be aware of in multicultural library programming. First is the ability to locate materials. Multicultural materials are very difficult for users to locate on their own because sometimes they are not thinking about these materials. It's just not a part of their thought process to, oh, let me, see what these other cultures or other perspectives are. Or they just don't know how to evaluate materials or like where to find them. So that's where programming comes in as something that's very important, because the library gives users a chance to engage with materials that have already been, vetted and provide a diversity of voices. Multicultural programming impacts all types of libraries, whether that is a special or academic library, um, or a public or school library. But the way they impact are going to be a bit different. When it comes to uh, school, pardon, special and academic libraries, what this can look like is if a collection is too oriented towards a specific culture, if there's an overrepresentation of one perspective, that can limit the overall quality of the collection because there is a huge voice and perspective and other thoughts that are not being included in that collection. Um, and for school libraries, multicultural programming is how many students can be engaged with cultures for the first time. It gets children and students thinking about globalism and helps students feel connected to cultures within their school and community. Connecting with local community is also a large portion of the value of multicultural programming at public libraries. Um, Multicultural programming at public libraries gives communities a chance to gather, use that library as a gathering space, and see themselves and others represented and getting to explore that together in a safe environment. Um, another point to be aware of is the inclusion of outsiders. Sometimes there's a balance that library programming needs to have that is not just if you are not a part of that culture, it feels like you're just like looking in on it. What you want to encourage in multicultural programming is to have like a personal con to develop a personal connection and consideration to it, and not like you're just kind of seeing things from the outside. You want to encourage people to think about things, how does these things compare in our cultures? Or how does this like doing something hands-on is also a great way to get people to connect with those cultures personally. And of course, cultural appropriation. It is important to be mindful of how we are representing cultures in our programming. Um, it is important to also not rely on like exoticism to promote it, being like, ooh, what is this, different culture? This is so different. This is so different. What we want to do is bring together commonality through multicultural programming. Um, to navigate programming with nuance, it's important to consult works that are by people of the culture and to also engage with the present and living community that you are trying to represent. Like that's like guest speakers are a great way to have that living voice coming out. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day and you learned something about multicultural library programming.